welcome to La Georgia Paperie. My name is Lindsay, and today I'm going to do a comparison video on 3 different manual circle cutters. There is, of course, the Cricut machine, which if you have a cartridge that will cut a circle, it is probably my favorite way to cut circles, but that's not always an option for everybody, and finding the cartridge sometimes takes a while. Figuring out how to plug it in, any number of things could take a little bit longer. Using your Cricut, if you just need a circle real quick, I've got a couple of different methods that might work for you. So let me go through and just show you what 3 we are going to be talking about today. First off is the original circle cutting device I bought, which was this Fisker's circle template, and it goes along with this cutting tool. We have the Martha Stewart circle cutter, which goes along with this tool. And then we have the Curvy Cutter, which goes with this tool. So I think first up we're going to talk about the Curvy Cutter. And the Curvy Cutter I just purchased very recently. So I haven't really used it a whole lot, so that might skew my review a little bit of it, but that's okay, because we're still going to do the video anyways. So when you buy the Curvy Cutter, you're going to get the track, which is this part here, a template. This is the small one, and you also get the large one, a track and a template. I'm just going to show you on the small one because it's easier to see. And then this is the cutting tool, and you do have to buy this separately, which is kind of a pain, but the reason they do that is because there's not only circles for curvy cutters, you can get an oval curvy cutter and a square curvy cutter. So that way you only ever need to buy one tool. So then to figure out which size circle you want, you do need to use the template. So that's kind of a pain, I think, because it's one other thing that could potentially get lost or thrown away in your craft room. So, but you do need it, otherwise you're really not going to have any idea what size circle you're cutting. And both the Curvy Cutter and the Martha Stewart circle cutter are by EK Success, and I'm pretty sure the blades are going to be interchangeable. So if you buy this, and I got this on clearance at Michael's, so if they stop carrying this, but you want to get blades for it later on, I'm almost positive you could use the Martha Stewart blades, and it should probably work pretty well for you, because they're both really by the same company. But the only thing is with this blade, look how small this little cover is for the blade. Oh, and my manicure is even worse now than it was yesterday. But my natural nails will come back in, I don't know, like a month or two. So prepare for some really gross, ugly hands for the next couple of months. And then look here at the Martha Stewart cover. It's got this nice little tab, which I really like. It's supposed to be a lot safer, but I still actually managed to cut my fingers up pretty wickedly with this blade and this cover. So just be forewarned, be careful with EK Success blades. But so you just kind of can pull it off, and like I said, look how small it is. It's really easy to lose, so just be very careful in remembering where you put it, because you don't want to store this without the cover. And then to figure out what size circle you need, you just kind of lay it on, and then the blade does really sit right up on the lines of your template, which is nice, so you're going to get an accurate read that way. And then to change the size, there's 3 different tracks. I don't know if you can see. 1, 2, 3. So those are the 3 different places where you can stick your curvy cutter, the blade cutter, and you stick it in with these little knobs here. And then you can also adjust here, and then you can just kind of like push it in and then tighten it back up. And that's where you get, because there's like 3 blues, 3 reds, and 3 blacks that you can cut on each one. And that's where they come in with how you adjust this part here. And the smallest that the Curvy Cutter will cut is 2 1/4. And then going up to the big template, you can go all the way up to 7 1/2. So 2 1/4 to 7 1/2 inches wide. So I've only used the Curvy Cutter a couple of times, so I'm not the greatest at it. And then let's see what size are we going to be cutting here. This should be 2 3/4, which is where I have my blade now. And you're supposed to hold it here and just kind of like swivel it around. but I was having some issues with that. So I've been just holding it here. And I felt that I had a little bit more control and was a little easier to maneuver that way. So let's get started and cut our 2 3/4 inch circle with the Curvy Cutter. Okay, and I'm moving my mat a little bit and it's kind of not going so smooth. And if I do this, okay, now that's working for me. That wasn't working for me earlier. Okay, now bringing it back this way is a little difficult. Okay, so now I got to move down to using the sides. Okay. Okay, and now I think I have to switch. Oh, see, and it kind of skipped on me, so I didn't cut everything. Oh, see, this, I'm gonna give it a couple more chances, but it's really just kind of difficult to maneuver. So I think I cut everything. So make sure you replace your blade, or your blade cover, as carefully as you can without hurting yourself. Am I doing it wrong? There we go. And let's see here. I don't have nails, so I can't easily grab the paper. And see, I didn't cut it all. I guess it's not too bad of a circle. It's a little jagged on here, but really, if you just flipped it over, you could feasibly use it. So it will just take a little bit of a learning curve, I think, to figure out the right pressure to use when cutting with this thing. Because like I said, I just got this. I haven't done it a whole lot. But so far right now, not loving it. All right, let's move on to the Martha Stewart circle cutter. That's one I cut earlier. This guy has been super popular. I see it in all sorts of YouTube videos. Tons of people use it. You can go from 1 inch all the way up to 5.5 inches on this one. And she's got another separate bigger one. And I think you could go up to like 10 or maybe even 12 inches. I don't have that one, so I'm not sure exactly. But for the smaller one, you can start at 1 inch and go up to 5.5. And they're kind of like in a swirl formation. So you just kind of have to follow the lines or follow the swirl here and figure out what size you want. And this is her circle cutter tool that comes with it. So you don't buy it separately like you do with this. And I didn't mention that you can, I don't think I did anyways, store the blades in here, but really you could store maybe 2. So, oops, and I dropped that, so I'll pick that up later. But with here in the Martha Stewart one, you can also store them in the top. And look, there's so much room. I've got 2 in there right now, and I probably could fit, 3 or 4 more in there if I wanted to stock up. Okay, and then the blade cover is essentially the same as the Curvy Cutter one, but this one is a lot easier to handle. But like I said, I did manage to hurt myself on it once. But you just pull it up, and let's do like a 2-inch circle on this guy. So you just find the notch, and your blade fits in each notch. So you just kind of push it in. I'm sorry if you can't see. Being left-handed, my videos tend to be a little bit backwards. Nope. But you just kind of push it in, and you can kind of like swivel it around to see if your circle will fit on your cardstock, which is nice. And it looks like it'll fit right there perfectly. So I'm just going to hold it down with my right hand and swivel it around with my left, applying an even amount of pressure. And I go slow. I know I've seen some people go super fast, and I don't know how they do it. But there we go. That one turned out pretty well. So that was our 2-inch circle with Martha Stewart. It's a little difficult to use, and again, there was a learning curve on how to actually get the right pressure and stuff, but I think I've got it down now as to where I can create a pretty good circle every time. All right, so last but certainly not least, we're going to talk about the Fiskars shape templates. Now, when I purchased this a few years ago, I purchased the cutting tool, a cutting mat, and a couple of these plates together. So I got like a nice bundle. I think I probably paid like 30 bucks for it or something. And I do have all of the plates. Oh, kind of making a lot of noise there. You can go for the ovals, the squares, the stars, the hearts. I've got some letters. And then I also have the larger ones. Oops, I put the circles away. Sorry for the noise. But I have the larger ones too, because this guy, you know, it's nice and compact. You get all your circles together in one place. They go from 1 inch up to 4 inches. And then when you go to here, you can start at 4.5 inches and then go up to 8.25 inches on this one. And then if you're using these, you use the same tool, use it in the same way, but you can cut on the inside or the outside, which is nice to give you a little bit more versatility, and you have double the amount of circles you can cut with half of your templates, which is nice for space saving for storage. So the reason why I switched from using this method and I started then with Martha Stewart was because this circle in particular is the one that I used the most, and it's kind of ragged on the edges here, so I wasn't getting a real clean cut because I've used it for 2.5 years. So these don't last forever. I don't think any crafting product really does. So just keep that in mind, but I really did enjoy using these. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'll cut the big circle out of this one. Oh, and I took it off camera, but I'll show you how it works. It's got a really nice, easy to find cover, so you really can't hardly lose this thing. And what's nice about this too is you don't have to use it with the shape templates. You can go freehand with this tool. You just use this orange part, if I can get it off, and then you can go freehand and cut whatever you like, which is kind of a cool feature. Otherwise, if you are using the templates, you don't use that orange part. And so then you just, you know, I apply a lot of pressure with my right hand, the hand that's holding down the template. And you're gonna wanna position your blade all the way up against the edge of the circle. And then I always start by bringing it towards me this way, just something that I've always done. And just keep it nice and close. And I did just move the paper a smidge, so it's not gonna be a perfect cut. But usually it is. The other 3 that I did today were like absolutely perfect. But see, I've got this little like hair there. But you could easily file that down and then it would really be a perfect circle. And you could use it in scrapbooking, in card making, home decor, whatever you're doing. If you, like I said, I do recommend the Cricut the most for circle cutting and for cutting in general. But if that's not something that you have or something that is readily available when you're looking to cut your circles, I would recommend the Fiskars the most, even though this was like the one that I messed up the most on. Like I said, usually I don't. If you use an temporary adhesive or just kind of tape the edges of your paper down, you're gonna get a perfect circle every time. And the storage is great for this. You can buy the pack where it all comes together so you don't have to worry about anything else. So like I said, I really recommend this. I used it forever and I only switched because I used it too much. The next one that I would recommend would be the Martha Stewart. It is very popular and it does work really well. There is a learning curve, but once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy to use. And then the last one, and I really don't think at this point, since I haven't used it that much, I would not recommend using the Curvy Cutter. When I've been trying it before, the cutter does not stay on the tracks very well, and it's very hard to maneuver, and you gotta keep switching from using it up here to using it down here. So it's just kind of a hassle, I thought. So I'm gonna play with it a little bit more, not gonna completely write it off quite yet, but for now, I definitely recommend, if you can find these, I've seen them on clearance at Michael's and Joann's, so I'm not sure if those stores are carrying them anymore. So if they're not, check online. If you're looking for something super simple, it would be this, because it's really kind of foolproof. This, you could easily cut the wrong size circle because there's just so many there, where this, it only does go up in 1/2 inch increments, so you don't get as a wide variety, but it really is kind of foolproof. And if that's what you're looking for, this is going to be definitely the best bet for you. So if you guys have any questions, please let me know. I would love to hear them. If you have any other suggestions, leave them down in the comments. I'd love to see what other people are using to make their circles. And I would love it if you would subscribe here on YouTube and check me out over at my blog, which is lageorgiapaperie.com. Thanks, guys. Bye.